Hello there, my name is Michael Maynard and welcome back to Gorilla Picking. Now, the locks that you see in front of you here are a pair of Group 2 mechanical safe locks. And I have got to say, gents, of all the things that I have put on my channel, of all the things that people talk to me about in terms of the lock sport world, safe locks are by far the most fascinating, and they are the thing that I get the most comments about. They're the thing that I get most requests for videos about. And I make no excuses for it, guys. I am absolutely fascinated by these things as well. They are completely different to a mechanical key lock. They work under a different principle, and they are just complex, beautiful pieces of engineering. As you guys know, I love multi-locks. Multi-locks are the best. They are the pinnacle of pinned, so conventional pinned locks. And I love them because of their mechanical intricacies and the way that they're designed and the tolerances that they're made to and all the rest of it. Now, safe locks, on the other hand, are kind of the next step up from that again. Now, what we are going to do over the space of the next few weeks is talk in great detail about these things. I'm going to run a series on these. I am going to do at least 3 videos, but it's probably going to run to about 4 or 5. Because every time I start talking about these things, I just damn well can't stop. And I don't want to make the videos too, not too complex, okay? I can't change the complexity, but I don't want to overload you guys with information. So what we are going to do is break this thing down into lots of small chunks, and I am going to teach you more than 99.9% of the human population know about safe locks. Now, the very first thing that I need to do is have a bit of a word here about ethics. Now, I am well aware that I have got more than a few, actually, locksmiths who subscribe to my channel. I am also aware that I have got several safe engineers that subscribe to my channel as well. Now, safe engineers get very nervous when people start talking about manipulation of safe locks one way or another, and I get that. All right. So what I'm not going to do here, gentlemen, what I am absolutely not going to do is tell the viewers of these videos anything that isn't in the public domain already. Now, what you guys at home need to understand, and not just the safe engineers, God knows, but everyone, these things have been around for about 120 years, almost unchanged. Now, what I am not going to spend the next few hours doing is explaining the exploits and attack modes, for example, of modern electronic safe locks. I think that would be completely inappropriate. On the other hand, these things in a lot of ways are antiques. Now, they are antiques that are still in use today, and the Group 2 mechanical safe lock is the default safe lock for a vast number of security containers out there, simply because it does what it's designed to do so amazingly well. And even though it's well over a century old, these things are all over the place. However, with that said, the modes of attack on these are well known as well, and I am not going to be telling you guys anything that isn't already known. Now, the second thing that I need to cover about that is that the number of criminals that break into a safe using manipulation techniques is virtually nil. So if you talk to a safe engineer and ask them about a container that was broken into that had a Group 2 lock on it, you will find that 99.9% of the time what the criminal did was go in with a physical attack. He penetrated the safe in other ways. So am I telling you guys knowledge that most people don't know? Yes, I absolutely am. Am I telling you anything, though, that isn't in the public domain? No, I'm not. And am I going to tell you anything that is likely to be used by a common criminal on the street? Well, the answer very definitely is no. So, having got that out of the way, let's now talk about these 2 specific locks in front of us, because these 2 locks you are going to be seeing over and over and over again over the next few weeks. They are a Group 2 safe lock here made by Carver Ilco. Now, Carver Ilco, it is a marriage obviously of Carver locks and Ilco locks. It is a very typical example of a Group 2 lock, and when you finally see inside this one here, you'll see it's an almost exact copy of the Sargent and Greenleaf lock. So this particular one is a non-functioning lock actually. I bought this off of eBay some years ago now actually as new old stock, and the guy that sold it to me told me that it was perfectly functioning and, you know, yada yada yada. It turned out that it wasn't. This lock has got a whole lot of things wrong with it, and so I don't use it to manipulate. I don't do anything highly technical with it. What I do use it for as my demonstration and training lock. Now, as you see it there at the moment, I am well aware, guys, that when the first time you look at the insides of a safe lock, looks horrifically complicated. But trust me, it's not, and you guys are going to learn the insides of this back to front by the time I'm finished with you. This lock is complete in its entirety except for two things. Number one, we haven't got the back plate on there. The back plate forms an integral part of the lock. It has a job to do, but it's off at the moment so that I can show you guys what's inside there. It is also missing the spring that holds this lever. Now, the reason that I've taken that spring off is that it makes demonstrating what's going on inside the lock much easier if that spring isn't there. It's a pain to get on and off, and I can demonstrate things more easily without it. And the only other thing on this lock that's non-standard, and you'll come to understand this later on, the spline key, this little key here, this little piece of metal that locks the cam to the spindle, is an aftermarket one that was actually made by my dad for me. My dad is a retired marine engineer, so he knows about working with metal. He also made this wooden practice lock stand, incidentally. He's a very skilled guy. So this spline key is deliberately made with this dirty great flag on the top of it so that I can just grab it with my fingers. If we were using a proper spline key in here, they are much smaller. They are a friction fit. They're a force fit in there, and they're very hard to get in and out in 2 minutes flat. Whereas what I need to be doing with this thing is just whipping it out and demonstrating some stuff to you. So that is what this one's all about. Now, the one that we have got on the little practice stand here, this is the definitive Sargent and Greenleaf Group 2 lock. Now, this particular one isn't branded on front. Some of them have got the Sargent and Greenleaf logo on there. This is off a Chubb safe, and I've actually never thought about it. I can't remember seeing one that's branded Chubb either, although perhaps they do that. If you have a look at the top there, and I'll just zoom in a little, you will see that says model 6741. Don't worry about the 012 on the end of it. So the Sargent and Greenleaf 6700 series. So there's most of the locks in this series are 6, 7, and then another 2 digits that denote some technical things that we won't go into. But this is a classic example of the most common Group 2 safe lock in the world. And again, trust me when I tell you, gents, by the time I have finished talking to you about this, you will know the guts of this lock absolutely inside and out. You'll know how it ticks, you'll know what its weaknesses are, and you will know how to defeat it. All right, so that is 10 minutes worth of introductory video, guys. Now, I have covered about a tenth of what I thought I was going to cover in this first video. I think that what's going to happen here is that my idea of having 3 videos is just blown out of the water. I think we're going to end up with probably, hell, it might even be a dozen. So, introduction out of the way. Next one we do, we will be talking about the definition of a Group 2 safe lock. Why is it called that? and then after that we'll get into some more interesting things. So we will see you in the next video, guys. My name's Michael Maynard, and this is Gorilla Picking.